Welcome to Common Sense Investing. My name is Cameron, and today I'm going to introduce to you, investors, one new stock that you've probably never heard of before. This does not have to be the perfect stock. I am looking to see if it's good enough, if it's going in the right direction to at least make my watch list so I can continue researching it, potentially build a thesis, and buy a small position in the future. So what stock today is at least making my watch list that I'm going to introduce to you? Zone Properties. This is a stock trading on the OTCQB with a market cap of $5 million. So very tiny company on a very tiny exchange under the ticker ZDPY. Their 52-week range has been trading between 30 cents and 70 cents. They're currently at 42 cents. What do? Zone Properties, discover your next cannabis property today. Site identification, brokerage, investment, and listing inquiry. So this is a cannabis stock that is not a cannabis stock. This is your cannabis-friendly landlord, and here's their website for you to go check them out. Why am I interested in this space? Because there's lots of commercial property realtors and property managers out there, but very few have experience in cannabis. There's different land use, there's different zoning, there's different regulations by jurisdiction. So most commercial property managers simply don't have that experience. Zone Properties has the opportunity to be the big fish in the small pond, where yes, niching down to cannabis might reduce their total addressable market, but providing this niche service with expertise in cannabis zoning, being a cannabis landlord, that has potential and potentially has a competitive advantage over anybody else in this space. And the company agrees with me. Why invest in Zone Properties? According to Zone Properties, well, they have first mover advantage in regulated real estate. They focus on industries where zoning and permitting are the primary barriers to entry. So they are solving a problem. They're solving a problem through AI and their AI-powered real estate intelligence. So not all commercial real estate, just cannabis, where they can input land use and zoning and regulations by jurisdiction, put all of that in an AI, and then provide information, streamline site selection, zoning analysis, compliance, reduce risk, accelerate approvals, and enhance asset valuation. So reducing manpower and making better decisions through artificial intelligence specific to cannabis real estate. They're doing that through a scalable tech-driven growth model where they have a real estate investment portfolio of their own. They have real estate services, and then they have tech-driven solutions. So they have three different ways to make revenue and potentially succeed, as well as they say strong financial fundamentals, which we will look at in a minute. So again, what gives them that competitive advantage is not just experience with people, but putting all that knowledge into AI. This is Rezone, their AI program to streamline complex real estate decision-making within the regulated cannabis sector. What I like is they're saying that it's a scalable solution. So scalable and providing solutions for navigating complex regulatory environments, save time for site selection, and increase ROI for users, for themselves and for their customers. And that is their growth strategy, right? They can use AI to identify, acquire, and develop high-value properties faster and more efficiently than their competitors. So they can do that for themselves and their own portfolio with more efficient site selection, automated zoning analysis, giving the prime real estate identification for them and for their customers to de-risk their customers' properties, to provide insights into zoning and land use, streamline acquisitions for their customers, and eventually expand that commercialization through that diversification and potentially expand out from just cannabis, leveraging Rezone for other industries, potentially licensing opportunities in the future. Now, before I get to the numbers, don't forget, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. This is not a solicitation to buy, sell, or hold this stock. This is just me saying that this is a good enough company to make my watch list for future research. And because we're looking at the company's numbers, this is their safe harbor statement to give it a read before we move forward. Now, why might Zone Properties meet the requirements to make my watch list? This is their corporate presentation from May of 2025, so very recent. Remember, this is a tiny $5 million market cap company. They have $45 million in total lifetime remaining rent from their current real estate. They have $3.1 million in annual rental revenue right now. That is 100% lease, so maybe this is a risk here that this eventually goes down, but right now their customers are happy with them and leasing their buildings, and that is giving them 16.2% growth, year-over-year growth in rental revenue. And don't forget, it's not just about cannabis dispensaries. There's warehouse and logistics to think of, as well as delivery hubs. So you can see they have a huge and growing customer client list, a huge Rolodex of companies that are working with them to build their reputation in the space. Financials probably matter more than anything for me. 2024 chart here, 2024 revenue, $3.79 million in revenue, cash flow from operations of $578,000. That was a 31% increase in total revenue and a 206% increase in net income for zone properties. Open new access to capital, so hopefully they can continue growing. This growth has not been slowing down because after 2024, they just reported recently Q1 of 2025, $974,000 of revenue, a record, $330,000 of cash flow from operations. This is a 16% year-over-year growth, but we're seeing this common theme of improved bottom line because that was a 51% increase in net income, and they are actively repurchasing shares. So a lot to like here. I don't think we need to talk about total addressable market here. Again, this is a $5 million company with $3 million of rental income. We don't need $40 billion in cannabis revenue at this point for zone properties. If they can increase that $3 million to $30 million, that's a 10x in revenue for the rent, right? So I think it does matter a little bit whether you're bullish on cannabis or not, but there's so much opportunity for this company, even though they have niched down to just commercial cannabis properties, lots of opportunity here. And that opportunity comes with some pretty attractive numbers, only 12 million shares outstanding, so they haven't been spending shares like crazy. 574,000 net income, 1.1 million in income from operations, 33% total insider ownership, which I know a lot of people like. And again, tiny little market cap. So here's some of the numbers. 6 cents earnings per share in 2024. Yeah, here's one of the high risk parts about this stock. $9 million in debt as they spend money to grow their portfolio. Only $1 million of cash on hand. So that's something to think about. But that debt might be already baked into the share price a little bit. Here's their 6-month chart. It's been declining for a while now until recently on their 2024 audited earnings, which were good and audited. So we can trust those numbers a little bit more and dive into them a little bit deeper, which is what I have been doing and seeing a little bit of strength as people are starting to notice this company, notice this stock a little bit more. I've noticed it. I'm putting it on my watch list. And of course, if you want to keep talking about zone properties and or some other fantastic microcap and nanocap stocks, I have a Patreon, paid Patreon Discord. You can get all the information for that at commonsenseinvesting.ca. I also have a Substack, Common Sense Investing. I will be releasing an article on zone properties within the next week. Let me know what you think of zone properties. Is this stock making your watch list? As always, you've been watching Common Sense Investing. My name is Cameron. Thank you so much for your time.